You have already probably heard about this story, but if you haven't, it's another crazy twist in the San Francisco 49ers search for a defensive coordinator. Now, we've heard today, according to Matt Barrows, the San Francisco 49ers have interviewed the Raiders safeties coach for the defensive coordinator role. So the 49ers have done their research, and they've got a couple candidates in the hopper. And obviously, I think the front runners right now are internal candidate Nick Sorensen, and then as well as an external candidate in Brandon Staley. But obviously, here at the Combine, a lot of stuff is discussed, is said, whether in meetings, behind closed doors, or at steakhouses. Diana Rossini went on a podcast and dropped some very interesting news about the San Francisco 49ers defensive coordinator search. What's funny about this is we have been out at the steakhouses the last couple of nights, and we've seen Diana Rossini running around, mingling, networking, doing all that kind of stuff. But she drops a very interesting nugget on this podcast on The Athletic, and I'll let you take a listen and let me know what you guys think.
The Chiefs aren't that sort of cash-spending team.
Correct. And even on the coaching side, which there is no cap, right? Steve Spagnoulo signs a couple days after. San Francisco was flirting with him, thinking about bringing him in as DC. Andy Reid right now and Brett Veach are going through contract negotiations right now. They're hoping
Back into the roster.
So apparently, according to Diana Rossini, who reports for The Athletic, 49ers, Kyle Shanahan, were trying to get Steve Spagnuolo and hire him as the 49ers defensive coordinator, and alluding to the fact that the Chiefs gave Spags a contract extension when those conversations started to happen, to kind of keep Spagnuolo away from the San Francisco 49ers. So this is fascinating because, as we know, we're still waiting to see what the situation is going to be and who's going to be the defensive coordinator. And I'm sure if you ask any 49er fans, if you were able to get your hands on Steve Spagnuolo, especially with how he played against the San Francisco 49ers in the Super Bowl, we'd be through the roof. We'd be over the moon. That would be a phenomenal hire. It would be probably best case scenario hire for a defensive coordinator. But here we are, still without a defensive coordinator, and it's going to be fascinating to see if we get word here pretty soon. So the last two defensive coordinators that the 49ers have interviewed satisfy the Rooney Rule, where you have to interview two outside minority coaches, and so the 49ers have completed that aspect of it. They have fulfilled that rule with the last two interviews. So I wonder if we are going to find out here pretty soon who the next defensive coordinator is. And it's just crazy. Who is it going to be? Who is it going to be? Who is going to be calling the shots for the San Francisco 49ers here in the coming future? It's going to be something that we have to continue to monitor and watch and see, because it's obviously an ongoing situation, and it's going to be very, very interesting. But based on the available candidates and who the 49ers have looked at, curious to see who you want. Again, I don't know when this is going to go down. It feels like it's kind of dragging on a bit, but I got to give some credit to Kyle, to the 49ers for swinging for the fences. I know throughout this process, the names that we heard were Bill Belichick, Mike Vrabel, Pete Carroll as the top candidates, but I think we would all agree that, Spags would probably be right at the top with that tier of potential defensive coordinators. So if they got that would have been a crazy hire to be able to get that away from the Chiefs and put that on the San Francisco 49ers. That would have been a huge win. So obviously it didn't happen. The Chiefs were able to extend Spags. But at the end of the day, I mean, I don't mind that they tried. Obviously, you want to see them close in those scenarios, but that's up to the Chiefs to sweeten the pot there for Spags to keep him around. So that's exactly what they did. And now the San Francisco 49ers are still searching. So with this news, I think there's an interesting element to this. Who's out there that maybe we haven't thought of? Who's a name out there that maybe we haven't considered, maybe we don't know, maybe there hasn't been a formal interview, maybe there's conversations being had, because I didn't even know Spags was available to even potentially be the DC. I thought he was under contract. So is there other situations like this where maybe the 49ers can pull someone away from another staff that I don't know. But again, this is becoming a fascinating situation. Again, a late fire of Wilkes. No news of the big names. We had some internal candidates, Staley, who the fan base absolutely despises that idea. And then we find out that now Spags was in play, and basically the Chiefs said, no, we're gonna pay him so you can't take him. And we still don't have a DC. So here we are yet again, searching, waiting, trying to find who the next DC is going to be. Could it be you? Have you interviewed for the job? Have they reached out potentially? Maybe. We'll see. So, do you guys have a candidate that maybe that we haven't thought about that you could be like, oh, maybe this is a sleeper cell, a sleeper DC candidate like Spags was? Like, no, I had no idea that Spags could be even in consideration for that job. So, do you have a sleeper cell? Are you the sleeper cell? At this point, I'm just messing around. But again, would love to know who the 49ers DC is. It's a situation. We'll definitely say that. But maybe with these recent two interviews and the Rooney Rule being satisfied, now a decision can be made. We're going to find out. Let me know what you think about all this stuff in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.